A stunning reversal in North Korea. Kim Jong Un halting the country's missile testing and closing one of its nuclear sites ahead of his upcoming summit with President Trump.
But our next guest says something is not adding up. Here to explain, Michael Malice, author, Dear Reader, the unauthorized biography of Kim Jong Il. Good morning. What do you make of these latest developments?
Something's not adding up, as
Why?
it often does with North Korea. Let's suppose we were having a summit with Trudeau from Canada, our allies for decades, strong allies. And ahead of the meeting, Prime Minister Trudeau said, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, and ask for nothing in return. It wouldn't make sense. You know, maybe he would give it up at the end of the meeting, but certainly ahead of time, he's not going to put all his cards on the table. So maybe Kim Jong Un is reading Art of the Deal in reverse or something, because clearly he's not asking for.
But isn't it because President Trump said, fire and fury, you're going to go down if you take us on?
After he said fire and fury, remember, they were saying they were going to hit Guam with missiles, and in November, they sentenced President Trump to death in absentia. So it takes a lot to go from, we're going to kill you in November, and in April, we're just going to give you everything we want and ask for nothing in return, especially in light of what happened in Syria.
Right.
Syria just was struck, less than a couple of weeks ago, and now they're saying they're going to give up their nukes, and they're also saying they're perfectly comfortable having American troops in South Korea as part of the deal, which has been a sticking point for them for decades, since the end of the Korean War. So again, and this, as I was saying earlier, with regards to Trudeau, this is our close ally. Here we have our worst enemy, so to trust them at their face value makes no sense.
So what was the turning point? Because if you listen to Kim Jong Un and speaking to his own state party the other night, he says, we have finished our nuclear weapons program. So he can now deliver for his dad and his granddad, a book that you've written a lot about.
Sure.
That was their dream. That is all they wanted for their country. So he's saying it's a win-win for us because we have our nuclear program and now we can open up to the West and fix our economy.
But they can't really open up to the West because these people have been lied to for 70 years. They're taught that we started the Korean War, for example, as opposed to their founder, the great leader Kim Il-sung. So can you imagine what would happen to a nation that learned, like if we learned that George Washington was a genocidal dictator? It's not going to make us like the federal government a lot more. So if they even wanted to open up, his hold on power, which is already tenuous, would implode. So again,
so what should we be most concerned about? You're saying this came out of nowhere when they were acting quite differently just months ago. So why should we be nervous? Why should the president be nervous?
In the same way that a couple of days before the election, Hillary was tweeting out, happy birthday to this future president. Everyone's cheering and applauding as if we've won and North Korea is going to liberalize and give up their nukes and close down the concentration camps. Let's celebrate when these things actually happen as opposed to simply a pause on the nuclear program and a lot of hot air coming out of his mouth.
So you think Kim Jong Un is going to go to the table and say, never mind, I tried, I did all these things a month ago, and then I go to the table and President Trump is going in a different direction. I'm done. I tried. Is that what he's
That's certainly an obvious thing for him to do. It would be very easy for him to say that we tried the peace way. Now we have no choice but to amp up the nuclear program. We don't know what's going to happen because we also don't know how President Trump is going to approach him. And President Trump is playing his cards close to his chest, which is very intelligent when you're dealing with someone like this.
Well, proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Very interesting points. Great to have you on, Michael.
Thanks,
you know this all too well. Good to see you.